nutrition. So on the front line of seeing people and seeing how they get results. Okay, so I'm not going to be telling you what to eat. I'm not going to be giving you ideas on what you need to eat for this, what you need to eat for that. What I'll be giving you is just practical advice that you will be able to take away with you today and use it in everyday life. It's going to be giving you the foundations to understanding healthy eating and nutrition and what we need to do in order to be just to understand it really. Okay, so there's a lot of jargon out there and there's a lot of popular diets out there that people try this and they try that. It's very, very important, first and foremost, guys, that we do not get sucked into the world of the nutrition market. Okay, so what I would say first and foremost is do not get sucked in to the market that is the healthy eating, weight loss markets out there will thrive on people that are overweight to sell them a magic pill, a magic potion, or they'll try and sell them a magic exercise workout to lose weight. There's no such thing as a magic pill. There's no such thing as taking tablets to lose weight. Okay, that does not exist. It does not work. There are things on the market that will bind fats in the bloods, which make you have leaky poo. But they're not really tried and tested models which will give you long-term weight loss. So what we're going to be discussing today, guys, is nutrition. I think we're just about ready to get started, and we're going to be talking about today about diets. We're going to work out, give you a simple 3-step process in terms of how you can make your diet healthier. And we're going to talk a little bit about formulas, which we talked about last time about weight loss. We'll look at the formulas again to ensure that you have the correct formula to lose weight if you are looking to lose weight, but also not just to lose weight, but work out your calorific needs. So it might be that you're a bodybuilder, it might be that you're an endurance trainer, you're a runner, an athlete. You might want to know about your calorific needs per day. So we're going to discuss that a little bit as well. Okay? So without further ado, it is 4:45. We are going to kick off with the question and answers section at the end, but we'll kick off with talking about diets, talking about what's happened with the world over the last 50 years of diets. We'll talk about formulas, we'll talk about proteins, fats, carbohydrates, alcohol, and then we'll finish about a 3-step process of how we can then look at implementing a healthier diet into your way of life. So, diets. We're going to start with. So, diets have been around since the late 70s, early 80s. I think Weight Watchers originated around that time. And popular other diets all came around at that time. Now, there has been no diet that has lasted a lifetime. Okay? Do you know anybody that has been on a diet or been on a specific diet forever? No. People go on and off diets, okay, which is called yo-yo dieting, okay? In the 80s it were very Weight Watchers, 90s it were all about calorie counting. I think the noughties were more about the Atkins regime and let's look at how we can pick up as much protein as we can in our diets and get rid of carbohydrates because carbs are the enemy. That went away, then became intermittent fasting in the year 2010 through to 2020 now. We're probably looking at, I'd probably say, 40, 50 years of popular diets have been out there. There's not one diet that really is sustainable for the long term. I agree with going on a diet as a one-off to kickstart people's motivation. I agree with that. And whatever that is, Rosemary Conley, Weight Watchers, you take your pick, there's loads out there. But it'll only give you a kickstart. And all that does is it gives you an awareness of healthier eating. Okay? So it'll just give you an awareness. They are not designed for people to go on and off and on and off and on and off. When you've got a holiday coming up, when you're getting married, when you want to lose 6 pounds to go to Marbs with all the girls, that's not what diets are designed for. They are designed to kickstart people into a healthier way of life forever. Okay? So first and foremost, diets do not work long term. And the proof in that is that probably every single person watching this right now has probably been on one of those programs, but is not on it anymore. Therefore, that person has reduced the calories, then they have put the calories back in, and the emotional science is quite clear. People feel like they've failed, so they will overeat and try to comfort themselves, to reward themselves, or to punish themselves for failing at that diet. So they'll eat more. And the body's been starved, so when it starts to get all these calories coming back in from the emotional guilt of not finishing that program, you'll put more weight on. And that's what yo-yo dieting is. It's like the tide coming in. Each unsuccessful diet you try and fail, you will gain more and more and more weight. So there's something missing. What is it? Oh, it's longevity. Oh, it's doing things long term. That's the key. But how do we do that? We'll have to tune in next time for that. That's all about how do I stick at something forever. That's a different chat. So today we're talking about diet, nutrition, healthy eating. So I've explained diets, why we shouldn't really go on lots of different diets, because they don't work long term. They are a quick fix. If you reduce your calories too low, then you will start to hold on to body fat as opposed to get rid of body fat, okay? So all the diets out there, and as a nation, we are getting bigger. Not just in the UK, but in Europe, we are getting bigger as a race of human beings living in Western society. We are getting bigger. We're getting more body fat. We're getting more numbers raising up there in BMI, which is body mass index. We're becoming more and more obese as we become more and more sedentary. So there's two reasons for that. One is people are eating more, and two, people are doing less. Okay? So we used to walk to work, we used to pedal to work, we used to run to pick a phone up, we used to go and turn the television on. We don't do any of that anymore. We press buttons. We used to wash his cars. Now we take it to the car wash so somebody else can wash his car. We're more sedentary. So we're not burning off as many calories each day. And we're eating more because food's there everywhere you go. You go to a petrol station, chocolate. You go to a hospital, Burger King. Food is there everywhere, okay? It's not like we're in the World War and we're rationed. It's there, it's everywhere. So we're eating more, we're doing less. So that's why we're getting bigger, okay? So don't think it's all about your diet in general, okay? There might be areas to address which we'll look at. But generally, as a nation, we're doing less and we're eating more. Simple as that, okay? So just to sum that up, diets don't work long term. They're great to initiate and start a healthy lifestyle, but they do not work long term. For each diet you try and fail at, you will gain more and more body fat with each one you fail at. And here's why. When your body takes in less than 1,800 calories a day for men, 1,600 calories a day for females, your body goes into what's called starvation mode. The body thinks it's being starved. So when it's reducing its calories too much, the body holds on to body fat, okay? So you will get bigger because your body feels like it's being starved. And for each and every single diet that you try, fail, and start comfort eating afterwards because you feel guilty of not completing it and finishing it, you will gain more and more weight, more and more body fat, until you understand the formula. Okay? So if we have got any yo-yo dieters listening in, the last thing you need to do is to go on a diet. Okay? Diets don't work long term. Are we all clear? Can we move on? Yeah? So, What we're also going to talk about now is how to work out how many calories your body needs. So we talked about 1,800 for men, 1,600 for women. If you go below that, then you start to hold on to fat and hold on to fat stores, and your body doesn't burn as much as it could. That is true, but how many calories does your body need each day? Now, there is a formula for this that I talked about in my weight loss chat last time, and the formula is your weight in kilograms. This is for under 45s. Your weight in kilograms times 14.7, add 496. Now that gives you a number, okay? And then you times that number by 1.1 if you're inactive, 1.3 if you're slightly active, 1.5 if you're moderately active, and 1.7 if you're extremely active, okay? If you're over 45, which I am, nearly, then you need to look at a different model. It's your weight times 8.7 plus 829. And then you times 1.1 if you're inactive, 1.3 if you're slightly active, 1.5 moderately active, 1.7 if you are extremely active. Now, I did this earlier. So for me, I am 83 kilograms. I've times it by 8.7. I've added 829, and that gives me 2,326 calories once I've times it by 1.5, which is moderately active, which I am. Okay? So it basically gives me an idea that my body burns 2,326 calories each and every day of my life. Okay? So that formula works for every single person out there listening. I will post that on the group later. Don't try and work out on your calculators just now. Keep on listening. So that amount of calories is what my body needs in order to thrive and survive each day. If I get really, really lower than that, like 1,600 calories, I'm just going to feel tired. I'm going to lose muscle mass, and I'm going to hold on to fat, and I am going to get fatter and fatter and fatter because my calories are going lower and lower and lower. My body thinks it's being starved. Therefore, I will not lose weight. I will lose muscle, which is the last thing I want to do if I want to lose weight. Because if I want to lose weight, I've got to gain muscle to help burn more fat at rest. Okay, so it's very important that you get the calories in just right for you as an individual. Okay, so again, that formula is there for everybody on the group afterwards. Now, I burn off 2,326 calories per day. Therefore, I need to be eating about 2,300 calories a day for my body to be functioning each and every day. Now, if I eat more than 2,300 calories a day, and I start having a bit of a every Friday, Saturday night, bottle of red wine here, pizza there, I might then take my average of 2,300 calories a day up to around 3,000 calories a day. If I am putting in more than I am burning off, guess what? I'm going to put weight on. I'm going to put fat on. And for every 3,500 calories your body puts on top of what you're allowed, you will put on 1 pound of fat. So for those who are eating in excess of their needs each and every day, every 3,500 calories you put on top of what you need, you will gain 1 pound of fat. Fat. 3,500 calories. But I get that in a pizza, so I hear you cry. Of course you do. But you don't forget you'll burn 2,300 calories if you're me of that off. And if I exercise that day, I might shed 3,500 calories because I'm burning off my 2,300 that I already burn. But I might also burn off another 1,200 calories by going for a 3-hour walk or doing a cardio combat class for 40 minutes. So does that all make sense? So it's all about calorific needs, okay? So you can work them out later on. Now, what if I go the other way? What if I drop my calories from 2,300 calories a day, which is my body's requirement? What if I drop that then to, let's say, 2,000 a day? I am then saving around 300 calories a day. Yeah, agreed? So it would take me 11 and a bit days to lose a pound of weight if I was doing 2,000 calories every day. Does that make sense? Because I'm saving 300 calories a day. If there's 3,500 calories in a pound of weight, then I'll be starting to lose a little bit of weight over that period of time. But it doesn't really work like that. because lots and lots of people don't just eat 2,000 calories a day. They'll eat 3,000 calories one day and 2,000 calories a day after. So hopefully I'm making sense with this, but we're balancing it out so that overall energy in versus energy out is in a deficit if you want to lose weight. And it's up here, you're putting more in than you're burning off if you want to gain weight. As in fat weight, which not a lot of people want to gain fat weight. So it's quite straightforward, guys. The amount of calories you put in will have your body will have a response to either gaining weight or losing weight, depending on how many calories your body's putting in. So if you want to gain weight, which most people don't, eat more than your demands. If you want to lose weight, eat less than your demands. Okay? Now, if you are obese, if you have got a BMI of 30 or more, you will be allowed to reduce your calories by around 500, not 300. Okay? So if I wanted to lose weight, I would recommend anybody to reduce their needs by around 300 per day. On the exercise days, be careful that you don't get too tired with that. Okay? And then if you are obese, therefore if you've got a 30 BMI or more, then you need to reduce by about 500 calories per day. In theory. Okay? So, let's say I'm 100 kilograms, which is about 16 stone, which, believe it or not, is the nation's near enough average, getting up to 16 stone. If I'm 16 stone, which is about 100 kilograms, and I'm similar, then I will be burning off more because I've got more weight to me, therefore I'll be burning off more calories. Does that mean I need to eat more calories? Yes, you do. If I am 16 stone, I will need more calories to sustain my weight and to sustain my energy needs each day. However, I might be at risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and that's not good if my BMI is up there. So I would recommend to my heavier self to lose or to save about 500 calories a day, and then every 7 days I would lose a pound. 5 times 7 is 3,500. Therefore, I would be losing a pound every 7 days if I save my calories by 500 a day as opposed to 300 a day for a lighter Richard. Does that make sense? So hopefully that all makes sense. So it's not rocket science, it's fact. But you all get blinded by what we get told, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, you don't. You need to do what's right for you and your calorific needs. Okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully we all understand about calories in versus calories out, not to diet. We're going to move on now to a little bit about talking about protein, carbohydrates and fats. So let's say I have 2,300 calories a day. I can't just eat 2,300 calories a day. I need to make sure I'm eating the right things, which is eating healthily. 90% of the time I've got to make sure I have a bit of a treat on a weekend because that keeps me sane. But I need to be making sure I get enough protein so I don't get too tired, enough carbohydrates so I don't get too tired, and I need to get enough fats in the body as well. So you've got three major food groups there. You've got proteins, you've got fats, and you've got carbohydrates. Okay? And it all depends on what you do and who you are as to what you need. You need totally different to what I need, unless you're me. I'm Richard. I train 5 times a week. I go for a run 2 or 3 times a week. I've got an active job. Therefore, Richard needs probably about 65% of his calories to come from carbohydrates and about 30% of his calories to come from protein. And the rest of it, good fats. I need to stop doing this now. Let's say I've got an endurance runner, somebody who does 30 miles a week on the road. They will need a little bit more carbohydrate and a little less protein because all they do is run. Let's say I'm a weightlifter and I just lift weights 4 or 5 times a week. I'm going to need a higher amount of protein to replenish my muscles than a road runner will who just burns carbohydrates. Okay? So it's really important to eat for who you are. We've worked out how many calories you need. Now you've got to work out the proportion of calories that you actually need of protein, carbohydrate and fat to suit you as an individual doing what you do each day. If you sit down at an office all day, pressing F1 enter, standing up to make a cup of coffee, you get the most exercise to get from your living room to your car to drive to work, from your car to your desk, from your desk to your car, from your car to your home, and you're working 7 or 8 hours every day without any exercise. Are you going to need to eat 60% protein? No. You're going to need to have a nice, balanced, healthy diet, but you're probably going to need to eat less calories because you burn off less calories than anybody else. So it all depends on who you are and what you do as to what you need. So you have 3 types of food. You have protein, you have fat, and you have carbohydrates. So they're the 3 different types of nutrients, okay? Protein is amino acids. You get a lot of the amino acids produced by the body naturally, but some of the amino acids in protein you only get from food. Meat, organic grass-fed meat is the best source of protein, although we do have a big thing about veganism now. People like to get a lot of the proteins from vegetables, which can be done. There's research to suggest that people can get the good amino acids, the good proteins from vegetables as well. And I'm all for people being an individual with this. I'm not going to recommend anybody to do this, do that. I don't ever do that. I work out what's right for a customer coming to me telling me exactly who they are and what they do. There's no point me saying to somebody, oh, you need to eat this, you need to eat that. If they don't even like this or that, they need to eat what's right for them, okay? So protein is essential in a diet, whether you get it from meat or from vegetable, that's totally up to you. And grass-fed meat is the best meat we're talking about, okay? So organically fed meat is better than processed meat, okay? Well, that's what we're talking about. And if you're watching all these things on television that tell you, oh, well, meat is the enemy, okay, meat is not the enemy. Meat is absolute crap if you buy crap meat. But meat is amazing if you get amazing meat. It's not rocket science, okay? So, yes, meat is bad if you buy bad meat and meat that's not being well treated. Then we need to also get fats in our diet. A lot of people are scared by the word fat. Fat is the best thing you need to give your body, okay? If you want to lose weight, you need to eat fat, and you need to eat lots of it. Good fats. Good fats, good fats, good fats. Mono unsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, you get the idea. So unsaturated fats, anything that's liquid at room temperature is good. Anything that's solid at room temperature is not good. Just use that. Yeah? So your oils, great. Ideally extra virgin olive oil. Put it on everything. Amazing. If something's rock solid at room temperature, butter, yeah, it's not the best. It's probably full of saturated fats. So we need to be also understanding that fat is not the enemy. Okay, you do need good fats in your diet, especially EFAs, essential fatty acids, fish oils, omega-3, 6, 9. Eat oily fish every day. That will get you your good fats. And your final nutrient is carbohydrates. You've got 2 types of carbohydrates. You've got starchy carbohydrates and you've got sugar carbohydrates. So you've got simple carbohydrates and starchy carbohydrates. So simple is sugar, something that's quick, bang, enters your system and it feeds your muscles, feeds your bloodstream straight away. That's simple sugars. So that can be found in sweets. A lot of simple sugars are bad for you. However, there are 2 simple sugars that you can eat, which are fructose and lactose. Fructose and lactose, fruit sugar, milk sugar. They're the only 2 sugars that I will recommend to any of my clients. You can get fructose sugar to put in your teas and coffees if you want. It's fruit sugar. If you like to have a little bit of a sweet tooth on a morning, add it to your cereal, or even better, maybe a little bit of honey. That is a bit of a simple sugar right there, but it's also natural. Okay, natural fruit sugars, milk sugars, honeys, they're the only things I'd recommend. But anything else is a big no-no. It's usually a processed sweet of some kind, like glucose, which is found in pretty much everything these days. 50% of all cereals are sugar, so just be careful when you do get cereals. If you get cereal, get Weetabix. Special K maybe is lower in sugar these days. I've not checked it, but usually they put a load of dried sugar in it now, or dried fruit, but it's natural fruit sugars, which is good. But I'd recommend Weetabix or porridge or overnight oats, stuff like that. That's ideal. And then you've got your starchy carbohydrates. Everybody knows starchy carbohydrates: breads, pastas, rices, potatoes. Yeah. So they're your types of nutrients, and everybody needs them in different moderation. So if you're a bodybuilder, you need more protein. If you're a runner, you need more carbohydrates. If you're a swimmer, a cyclist, you need more carbohydrates. You don't need a lot of protein. Most people get enough protein in their diet every day without having to add more protein to their diets. Just because you're going to the gym now twice a week and lifting a few weights going doesn't mean you need to have started having loads of protein shakes. No. Waste of time. You get enough protein in everyday life if you have a couple of eggs for breakfast. If you have a little bit of chicken with your evening meal. Now, if you are a serious strength trainer, then yes, you will need more organic proteins in your diet to feed the body. Your body needs to be replenished. And you ideally need to get that through natural sourced proteins, meats, eggs, fish, dairy limit. But you can get these proteins from everyday foods. You don't need to supplement with anything. Nothing at all on the market beats meat or organic grass-fed proteins. Okay? That will always be a fact. So we've talked about diets, we've talked about calories in versus calories out, we've talked about the types of people that need to eat, what types of foods they need to eat more of, depending on what they do and who they are, whether they sit at a desk all day, or whether they're an elite athlete and they do the practice, an Olympic 800 metre runner. They are going to need to get their diet absolutely bang on. And it all depends on the amount of weight that you are. It also depends on how much protein you are if you're in that phase, in that athletic phase. So I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think it's 1.7 grams of protein for every kilogram that you are. If you're looking at gaining muscle, 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of muscle would be advantageous for someone in everyday life. But don't quote me on that. I'm just recapping that, I think, from a seminar I went to a few years ago. I think I'm right. It's very rare I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, somebody corrects me. So we've talked about proteins, fats, carbohydrates, okay? All those things are great. The only thing I would say is unsaturated fats I didn't mention. Good fats we talked about, but unsaturated fats are the big bad boys, the processed meats, the rich sauces. Those are the things that we need to cut down urgently, because that's generally where most people go wrong. Talk about alcohol now. Alcohol is on everybody's mind at the moment because we can't get out to the pub. Can't wait for that first pint. So, 7 calories per gram of alcohol. So it is quite dense. Compared to fat, saturated fat is 9 calories per gram. Alcohol 7 calories per gram. And protein and carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram. So they're down here. So protein and carbohydrates tend to be the better options when it comes to losing body fat. But 7 calories a gram is alcohol. Oh well. 7 calories a gram. So we need to just make sure that we're bearing in mind that calories coming from alcohol are okay, in moderation. I think it's 2 to 4 units per day is the recommendation now for alcohol intake. Quote me if I'm wrong again. So just be careful with alcohol. Now, we're going to finish off today with talking about where do you start in getting healthier? Where do you start in making changes? So I'm going to give you a 3-step process for those who have been watching. Thank you for tuning in. So for those who have been watching, the 3-step process is quite simple. You write down every single thing you eat and drink for 7 days. You write Monday, whatever day you're on, and you write down what you have for your breakfast, your lunch, your evening meal, any drinks, any snacks, and you write that down, all on a row, yeah? Food diary. Google it. You'll be able to get a template. Write down everything you eat and drink for 7 days. Don't change your diet in any way, shape or form. And it's quite simple. You follow these simple rules. First of all, you try to reduce your saturated fat content in your diet. You're not sure what saturated fat is? Google it. It's not hard. It's processed foods, basically. Cakes, pastries, all the things that are really, really nice tasting. Sausage rolls are probably, pork pies, probably say the worst thing in the world that you can put into your body is a pork pie or a sausage roll. So those 3 things, number 1 is saturated fat. So you look at your food diary after you've done it for 7 days and say, right, number 1, how can I reduce my saturated fat content each week? You circle everything that's got saturated fat in there, and you work out what of those is realistic to you as an individual to take out of your diet and leave it out forever. Remember, we're not going on a diet. We're just taking out saturated fats that you don't actually need. It might be that you put butter on 2 slices of bread. Perhaps you can just put it on 1. It might be that you go from a high-fat mayonnaise on your salad to a low-fat mayonnaise on your salad. It might be that you don't have that pork pie. You have half that pork pie. But you work it out what works for you. Okay? So that's saturated fat, number 1. Eliminate that for a week. Then you're on to week 2. On week 2, you then implement step 2. Step 2 is alcohol. So, can you reduce your alcohol by 50% for the rest of your life? Is it realistic? If it is, go for it. If it's not realistic, if it's something that you think, oh well, I don't feel like I could do that, just stick with the saturated fat and then move on to step 3. Keep the alcohol. If you can, drop the alcohol, and then you've got 2 steps in place. Step 3 would be simple sugars. So simple sugars come third. Okay, so sweets, cakes, chocolates, biscuits, that sort of thing. How can you reduce that? Okay, bring that right down as well if you can. And then, what you've noticed over a 3-week period is you've reduced saturated fat, alcohol potentially, and simple sugars. You've now probably saved yourself 400 calories a week by not even thinking about it. And you'll lose a pound, 400 calories a week, let's say, you probably lose a pound every couple of weeks. If you do this for 7 to 10 weeks, you're going to lose half a stone. That's if you've got it to lose in the first place. But we're not all about doing this for weight loss. This is also for health, and the chat today is about nutrition. And if you get all the fresh vegetables and fruits coming in, you're not just getting all the goodness coming in, you're getting all the vitamins and minerals and macronutrients as well that you need, the micronutrients, the selenium, the magnesium, the iron, the amazing power things that you need for your body to live. So we're not just doing this to lose body fat, we're doing it to feel healthier, more energetic, more vibrant, more get up and go. Okay, and that's what your body is. And I started off, I don't know if you tuned in, but eat well, feel well, eat poorly, feel poorly. Remember it. I love it. Eat well, feel well. Eat poorly, feel poorly. It's not rocket science, that quote, and I'll give you that one. Otherwise, after 7 days, it's $2.99 a month. But I'll give you that one, guys. Eat well, feel well. Eat poorly, feel poorly. So try it. Try writing out that food diary. Try looking at how you can reduce your saturated fats, your alcohol and your simple sugars over a period of 21 days. I guarantee you, if you implement that for a course of 3 weeks, you'll notice the body feels less bloated and less tired. They're the 2 things that it will do. Okay, saturated fat, alcohol and sugars make you feel fatigued and tired and bloated. One of the biggest, the biggest admission of any GP surgeries over the last 10 years has been fatigue. Doctor, I'm always tired. Doctor, I can't seem to get out of bed in the morning. Well, stop eating sugar. Stop drinking so much and stop eating those saturated fats, because all they are doing is making the body work overtime to try and get rid of it and flush it out of the system. Your body does not know what a Mars bar is. Your body does not know what a Kit Kat is. It thinks, what the hell is this that's just hit my gut? And it tries to eliminate it. So rather than giving your body what it needs, it's having to do all these things over and over again. Your digestive system's constantly working to try and eliminate and eradicate all these toxins in the body. It can't do anything else for you because this is absolutely shattered. And gut health is what it's all about. So just to finish off before I take a quick couple of questions, if your gut health is right, you will be fine. But gut health is important, okay? So before you do embark on any program of altered eating, please seek medical advice from your GP first. I'm just advising you today on what I know works for my clients and what I think would work for people, providing it's suitable for you as an individual. But please don't embark upon a program of altered eating until you seek medical advice. And that way your GP or a professional, a dietitian, could give you a more balanced approach to suit you as an individual. So take my advice. All I'm doing is giving you an invitation to join me tonight to listen. So have we got any questions? Please write out your questions now. If you've enjoyed it, please put your thumbs up. Send us the love right now if you've enjoyed that chat. Hopefully you've all enjoyed that and you've all got a little bit from it. I try to keep it as simple as I can, hoping that I don't go too deep with you. But for functional gut health is what we're looking for, and you only get that. How do I work out? Sorry guys, I'm just reading now. How do I work out proportion of carbs, fat, protein for me as an individual? Good question. It all depends on what you do. I went through that in the chat. So I don't know you as an individual. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. I don't know your levels of activity. I don't know what you do for a living. That would have to be worked out with a consultation with a personal trainer, and then we could work that out. I can't answer that unless I know who you are and what you do. We went through that in today's chat. So apologies, but I cannot answer that until I know more about you. Okay, if you're an Eskimo, I'll have to recommend that you eat a high proportion of fish oil. So I don't know who you are and what you do. Apologies. You're probably not an Eskimo. Ryan Carmody is watching. Hi, Ryan. Have you got any questions, Ryan, about nutrition? Any questions, guys? Just write them down. But generally, just so the consensus of an average adult, protein, carbohydrates, fats, generally it's 50 to 60%, I think, would be carbohydrates, 20 to 30% would be protein, and 10 to 20% would be fat. So apologies if I came across, I've not been able to answer that. In terms of, if you look at a pie chart, I think a bit more than half needs to be carbohydrate, a bit more than a quarter needs to be protein, and the remainder wants to be fats, good fats especially. Super helpful, thank you for the bit about fats, was very useful. Also good to hear that I probably don't need to consider adding protein shakes as a vegan to my diet. No, not at all. Don't need any protein shakes. Protein shakes are processed foods. They just hit your gut wall and your body's like, oh, what the hell's this that's gone into my body? Get rid of it immediately. Protein shakes, whey protein, I don't recommend. But there's a lot of people making a lot of money from them. Any more questions, guys? We've got about another 5 minutes. How much water do you suggest we need each day? Quite simple. Half your body's weight in kilograms in ounces of water per day for good hydration. So write this down. Half your body's weight in ounces, so it's your weight in kilograms, half your body's weight in kilograms in ounces of water a day. If I'm 80 kilograms, I need half of that in ounces of water, so I need 40 ounces. Yeah? Sorry. That's wrong. Pounds, not kilograms. Pounds. If I am 200 pounds, I need 100 ounces of water. Yeah. If I'm 300 pounds, I need 150 ounces of water. It's 20 ounces in a pint. Don't have more than half a pint every hour, otherwise you'll just wee it out. So for me, I'm 80 kilograms, call it 170 pounds. I need 85 ounces of water a day. So I need 4 pints of water a day for me to fully hydrate. And I won't have that all at once. I'll have that throughout the day. Hope that's answered your question. Very good question. Any more questions? This has been great and really informative. Thanks, Sarah. Just getting the 4 pints in. So any more questions at all, guys? Hopefully I've covered a lot of things there for you. We will be posting this onto the group. Please, 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 please share this information with whoever you want, guys. So share this information. It's not, a lot of it's not rocket science, it's all just factual. There's no magic formulas, it's just, this is what works, guys. So this is what works. This is what's worked for 500 clients of mine over the last however many, 15, 20 years I've been personal training. Caroline, what about dairy? Yeah, dairy's okay, but dairy can create inflammation of the gut, depending whether you are intolerant to lactose or not. But dairy is okay, but it can cause a bit of bloatedness. I would limit eggs to no more than 2 per day because they are quite high in cholesterol. So keep the eggs down to a minimum. Do you suggest we continue to work out every day? Yeah, that's a different question for nutrition, but yeah, working out every day is fine, but I would make sure you have 2 rest days a week now. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Claire. Take the advice. It's free advice. People pay a lot of money to listen to this, guys. I've got 20 years experience in weight management. People do pay money to hear this. So you're getting all this information for free right now. So take on board what I've said, implement it into everyday life. It is real life we're talking about, guys. It's not false, it's not fake, it's all true and tried and tested on the front line. I am on the front line of weight loss, okay? I try and test all these models on my clients and I see my clients' results. So you're getting it from the horse's mouth. I'm not telling it to a magazine and the magazine are interpreting differently. I'm not selling anything to you, I'm just telling you exactly what works and what doesn't work. Right, guys, thanks for your time today. Any final questions before I go? Just quickly let me know. If not, we're going to see you for cardio combat in 5 minutes' time. I'm just needing to get a quick change, get my music ready.